And today we have a very special guest with us, Crystal MacGregor. Okay, so who is founder and creator of the Calm Power Method, nutrition expert, food innovative leader, and strategic storyteller, also growth architect. Crystal, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm excited. Having you on board.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, Crystal. And you're looking beautiful in
Oh,
pink.
oh,
It's
thank
color, it's your color.
oh, thank you. Very kind.
Yes. So, Crystal, let's start from your university years.
hmm
And looking back now, what kind of student were you? And what parts of campus life influenced your growth the most beyond academics? Would you please
hmm
share with us?
Well, I would say university is kind of the waiting room to your career, is how I like to kind of put it. It's the first stage of building that personal identity. So I think for me, I was a very curious, hardworking student. That really loved the social aspects of university, and that's where I met some of my best friends that we're connected today, and we treat each other like mentors in our career.
That was a very insightful answer. Became, yeah. And uh, if I ask another question about the extracurricular activities,
Mhm.
were there any volunteering experiences, internships, student leadership roles, or community engagements that helped you build practical skills during that time?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, I was always trying to be very active. So I was on the student council for our nutrition department and played a role there, which was a really great way to kind of get my foot in the door of learning about collaboration, different viewpoints, and was kind of my first taste of being almost on a board, so to speak. So that was a great experience. Also was a part of an integrated internship. So I had to do internships every single summer. So that was a great way to almost just understand what brings me joy, what part of the dietetics career I really liked. And it helped me build a network of people that were peers, friends, mentors that I could count on and reach out to. And it was just a great way of getting that practical experience, because it's one thing to know the information, but to take it and apply in an actual setting is a totally different experience. So I did quite a few internship experiences, and you never know by just doing one experience how that could plant a seed for something that you end up doing 10 or 12 years later. So for me, I did a small placement in a French fry plant here on PEI in product development. And fast forward, that actually helped me get move my way up into a company to become the vice president of product development, where I led product innovation for 14 years for one of Canada's largest direct sales companies. So planting those seeds early, you never know what you're going to learn and glean later on in your career.
Yeah, what a beautiful journey you had. 14 years, long time. You were working on it, and the experience inspiring. Okay, at university, did you already had a clear career roadmap, or did your professional direction become clearer only after stepping into real world work? You were working, and before that you had I'm preparing yourself, you were preparing yourself maybe. So if you share a bit about that.
Yeah, I think I knew that I wanted to be a dietitian and I wanted to get that skill set. So my degree really kind of opened that door for me. But it was through all of my experiences that I really found what brought me the most joy and lit me up, and I was really passionate about. And along that whole process, it really helped me develop my character, my communication strategy, and helped me become the consistent professional I was in the room, really learning more about, you know, what do I like? How can I apply my skill sets? What can I learn from others? How can I evolve to actually get to where I am in my career today? So I would say it's stepping stones. I had an idea, but it wasn't a clear path. It was very meandering and took me in lots of different directions. And now I'm actually doing marketing. So you never know where you'll end up.
You never know when will you end up. Yes, true. But the students were lack at, the opportunities. I mean, they don't get the path in a right way, but they have the dream in their heart, in their mind. So, I mean, working on that, before working on it, they don't get the mentors in a right time, in the right way. So, a little suggestion if you give for the students,
Mhm.
how can they get the opportunity
Yeah.
to start?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think being self-directed is really, really important, and I can tell just being at the School of Entrepreneurship, there's a lot of passion and creativity that comes with that as well. When you have that fire in your belly and you know kind of your purpose and your why, that can really help drive you forward. So I would say, offering volunteer services. So in my dietetic internship, they had kind of static positions we could do. And I kind of tested it and said, how could I pitch to different organizations that I'm curious about working in? And if they accepted me, could I make that count for my tick marks of my curriculum? So actually, I went and pitched, and they said, if you can get accepted, then you can do placements there. So I think learning the power of the pitch, of how you can add value, what you could do, get your foot in the door, and go to places that you think you might be interested in working, or places that, there's a good mentor there that you would love the opportunity to learn from. Um, so I think by pitching yourself, doing an easy coffee chat, tell me more about what you do at your work and what does a day in the life look like for you, to, starting that conversation, building upon it and say, I'm really good and I offer skills in X, Y, and Z. If there's any opportunities, I would love to come and connect and shadow, or even help you with a specific project. So I think by knowing what you're good at, how you can add value, and building on those relationships and communication skills, I think the world is bright. Go out there and ask for what you want to learn more about, and actually get that experience. Maybe there's a conference coming up. You can volunteer as a student, and then see all those speakers and go connect with them for absolutely free. So I think there's a lot of opportunities. You just have to be creative and passionate, and put yourself out there, which can feel uncomfortable at first, but the more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes. And for every 10 no's, you might get a yes, which might open up a whole new door for you.
Thank you so much. I mean, yes, I'm also stepping forward to learn the skills. So yes, audience gonna be very experienced, inspired by your question answer. So, you said you're a dietitian. So, when you entered your early career as a dietitian and wellness professional, what were some of the biggest challenges, insecurities, or adjustment barriers you faced as a young graduate?
Yeah. I think you have all of this knowledge from your degree and you're ready to go out and you're super passionate. And sometimes you want to tell everybody everything because you're so excited about it. But I think once you get into your job, you're kind of learning how to navigate and work collaboratively with other people that you're working with. So you're building some of those soft skills. Maybe it's going to be how to communicate an idea effectively, learning more about organizational values, how you can add value. There might be some times where you're a fresh grad, and depending on where you're working, maybe people see you as, oh, you're the know-it-all coming in as somebody new and fresh. So it's a lot of different personality types that you might have to adjust. So I think, becoming self-aware of your strengths, some opportunities, being open, really using non-confrontational, communication strategies, being curious to learn and listen, and know that sometimes if you want to build and you learn, sometimes doing your own self-directed study to get that more experience can be really, really helpful. And that served me really well in my own career.
Okay, so the key point is you have to be self confident, you have to be very aware about the things, and you have to be active.
Exactly. You
Exactly.
make it sound so simple.
Yes, I can understand. And many students assume that a degree automatically prepares them for the workplace. But in reality, it is often different, right? What were the first workplace lessons that taught you what professional life actually demands?
Yeah, I think it's, how do you remain relevant and add value to a company? And that's because the world is changing so fast. I mean, with AI and different technologies that's coming out. Back in my day, 20 years ago when I was starting out in my career is a lot different than what it looks like now in my career. So I think education is really, really important, but I think it's that self-directed learning, that confidence. And that it's really important to keep putting your best foot forward and just really trying to add value, and show how you're adding value. Be curious and just, yeah, when you add value and you see blind spots and are able to present that in a really unique way, you're kind of securing yourself for a bright future in that company. I know back years ago, I started out with one company and I actually worked with them for over 14 years. And I moved up from working as their corporate dietitian to their manager of product development, to doing sales and training all across the country, to then moving up into their vice president of product development, owning 5 teams and driving 5 important business functions. So I think it's, if you can communicate effectively, articulate that really well with your communication skills, and just showcase how you're adding value, that can take you really far in your career.
Okay, thank you. Uh, could you share a real example where one skill you developed early, such as communication,
Mhm.
the one you are talking about, communication skill, discipline, networking, initiative, or problem solving, directly contributed to a major professional opportunity later on?
Mhm. Yeah, I think all of those are really great skills. I think strategic thinking is something that is very, very important and something that we should all continue to grow and thrive in, especially with the increase in artificial intelligence. There's a lot of business insights we can get quicker than ever before. But there's always the human side of business as well. So something I learned very early on in my career is to think about every interaction that you have professionally or even personally as either strengthening or weakening relationships. Because let's face it, business, we're people, we're humans. It's human to human interaction. So every conversation you have strengthens and builds a relationship, or it can weaken and damage and end a relationship. Now, all relationships help you evolve and grow in life. And I truly believe that we're all on the right, unique path for ourselves. But I think when you think of how you show up in the workplace and how you have your conversations, whether it's with an organization, people you work with, consumers, there's a human aspect. So just remember and kind of treat it like every conversation is building or strengthening or weakening a relationship. And if you keep that in the back of your mind, I think that will really help you with empathy, with core leadership, with confidence, and really understanding how your role fits into a larger organization and where you can add the most value.
Yes, networking is important. It is. Um, so, looking back, are there any things you wish you had done more intentionally during your campus years to prepare yourself even better for career success? Because in universities, students get busy to get high marks uh, unless growing beyond classroom.
Mhm.
So, what? How was it for you?
Yeah. I would say one of the best skills you can do is networking. And it's something that I would have done more intentionally. If I went back and could talk to my younger self, it would be network intentionally. So find where you find the most joy, whether it's doing different tasks or doing different projects that you're doing, and look at building networks that can help support you. And when you think about networking, think about it beyond just connecting with people to get job opportunities. Think about it as networking to learn new skills. Think about it as opening new doorways. And also think about it as trusted mentors and resources that you can almost build your own personal counsel to get feedback on, hey, they almost become your own coaches. So who are the people that you want to have in your court to help you evolve? They say in the business world that, we show up in lives and we're influenced by the 5 people that are closest to us. So when you take a look around it and say, who's the 5 people that's closest to you? Who do you aspire to be? And do you have those people that you aspire to be like in your network? And if not, could that present an opportunity to find and seek some of those networking opportunities to help you move quicker because they've already traveled that path before you? So I would have done that more intentionally looking back.
Okay, that would be helpful for the audience. Uh, in your observation, what are some common mistakes university students make their later slow down their transition from campus to career? I mean, what mistakes they should not to do? I mean, they should avoid.
Yeah. I would say there's not really any mistakes. There's just maybe missteps that lead to learning opportunities to show up a little different. However, I would say, getting those good grades and studying really hard, it's great. But workplace isn't just the marks that you got in school. As I mentioned, university is really building your professional identity. So it's great that you know the information, you can share the information, you've trained your brain on how to strategically think critically. However, don't miss out on the joys and the experience that you can get along the way. Because I've hired many people throughout my career in different roles. And something that people are looking for that's becoming even more important is that real life experience. It's great to have the top grades in your class, but if you don't have experience or show well-roundedness of, yes, I can think smart, I can think critically, but also I'm helping take initiative. So what are the skills that jobs or careers you're interested in require? And then how are you getting those experiences to demonstrate you have those skills? So is that networking? Is that volunteering? And it doesn't have to be even in the field of study of what you're studying, but it's really good to really build those skills. And I can't say it enough, really looking at building self-awareness and communication will carry you so far in your life, both personally and professionally.
Okay. Um, so, as Crystal shared with us that no more mistakes and no more missteps in your university life, that would help the most. And today, employers look for much more than academic results. From your perspective, what qualities make a young graduate truly workplace ready and professionally dependable?
Yeah.
What do
Um,
you think?
I think it would be showing that they are accountable, and that they're self-aware. I think that they're curious and willing to learn. I think being coachable is one of the best skill sets that you can have, showing that you have a growth mindset versus fixed, that it's one way or the highway, that you're open to feedback, you're open to exploring new different ways. And I think also being willing to take initiative. So if there's examples that you can show where you saw a gap in a service or, a gap in a workplace or somewhere where you volunteered and you were able to step up, take initiative, where you pitched an idea, you delivered it, you got feedback from it, and you move forward and what the outcome is, I think that's something that will help you stand out above the rest. Because when you're looking at grades, if you're competing against people with all of the same grades, what's that extra cachet that people are going to look for? Is, do they show up? Are they dependable? Are they coachable? Are they curious? And do they take initiative? Because I think in a workplace that moves really fast, you want to know that you're self-directed, but you're also a team player and can work in a team environment.
So, teamwork is also very important
Mm-hmm.
for your self development.
It is.
Okay, Crystal. So, for students who are still trying to build confidence and discover their strengths, what practical steps would you suggest they start taking now while they are still on campus?
Yeah, some practical steps while they're on campus. Yeah, I think know that you don't have to have everything figured out right away. And don't
Okay.
focus on the destination. It's really important to kind of stop and really focus on that journey. I certainly didn't have everything all planned out perfectly. Life doesn't go in a straight line, as we know. There's lots of ups and downs and twists and turns. So I think it's really looking at that, be curious, be really curious, find information, have the courage and the bravery to say what you know and what you don't know, and to take that time for self-reflection and awareness. What am I really good at? What are some weaknesses or opportunities that I can build to make me more competitive in the workplace? What do my relationships look like? What do my networking look like? Where have I proven that kind of consistent action? So I think, I would hope that all students would kind of sit down, and it's almost like doing a SWOT analysis on yourself personally. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats? And kind of build out where you are now, where do you want to be, and then what do you do about that in the middle from where you are now to where you want to be? What kind of activities do you need to do? What do you need to learn? Where do you need to grow? And I think if you can do that, along with really focusing on what brings you the most joy, your destination will become a really beautiful one, built on many steps of learning what you really enjoy and what you don't enjoy, and building your skill set to help you be the most competitive in your field of choice.
Yes, but in the journey of figuring out everything, students lose the track of a calm mind. I mean, it gets very messy in head. So it gets tough to calm ourselves, to go with the flow in a calm direction. So how could we?
Yeah. Well, I think it's right. Being a student, there's no doubt about it. I remember lots of different personality types, and my best friends and myself included. It's a stressful time in your life. You're learning how to balance a busy schedule. Some of you might be working while you're going to school to help pay some of those bills. So I think being able to calm and actually enjoy the journey is actually doing some self-care practices along the way. So things I really recommend is even, some breath work, really taking that time to pause and breathe. I think, I'm a dietitian. I think also moving your body. So sometimes we try to force ourselves to find that perfect answer, where sometimes it gets overwhelming and we kind of tune out. So I call the practice of almost like tuning in. So sometimes taking a break, getting some fresh air, going for a walk, breathing deeply, that can really help calm your nervous system. Something we don't talk a lot about that I wish I had have known earlier in life is how are we regulating our nervous system so that we can handle things from a calm state. We can probably all recall moments in our life where maybe we've acted because we were stressed. They say if you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, we default to reactions, and we act from an emotional point of view as opposed from a calm state. And I think we can all think about a moment of if we reacted when we were hungry or angry or tired, maybe that outcome wasn't as positive as if we had have just paused, taken a couple of breaths, got some fresh air, maybe some sun on our faces, and came back and approached it from a different angle. So I think tuning into your body and really regulating your nervous system is an underrated skill that I think we all need to learn, especially being women in workplaces. And there's a lot of different biases out there, and wanting to show value, that I think being able to act from a calm state will really help you have the best intention go forward, and you'll be able to hear messages and learn things quicker, and be able to put your best foot forward if you're helping yourself calm. So being a student is stressful. We've all been there. You're there now. So taking that time, pausing, doing some deep breathing, just tuning in, even a simple heart on your chest, and they call it the psychological sigh, which is Big breath in, and then at the top, you take another breath, and then really deep breath out.
So calming it is. It is.
It is so common. And research actually proves it. Huberman Labs has done the psychological sigh. It takes less than 30 seconds. Whether you're in a boardroom, a classroom, a bathroom, you can do this quite quickly. And it takes less than about 30 to 60 seconds to reset. So psychological sigh, definitely recommend doing that. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, say, oh my gosh, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Take that quick breath, and it can really help you come back to center and ground yourself. So doing breath work is really, really important. So breathe deeply, everyone. It'll help you.
Yes. Breathing deeply really helps. It helped me. It is helping me. I
Yeah.
do this. And thank you so much. Your words touched my emotions so hard. And it is helpful. And for the audience, it would be helpful too. So take a break, take a moment, and breathe a more bit. Okay, so finally, Crystal, if you had to leave students with one message on how to use their university life as a launchpad for long-term professional excellence, what would that message be?
Yeah, I think my closing message would be remember that your journey is uniquely yours. Um, and that every step, whether it is smooth or if it's really challenging, is shaping you to be the leader that you're always meant to be. So I think, don't compare your journey to anyone else. Yours is uniquely yours. And it's really important to stop and celebrate some of those small wins around the way. Life has a funny way of sometimes you think this is my destination and this is where I'm only going to be happy when I reach that destination. Whereas life is a bunch of different moments that you either learn and grow or it helps you evolve. So every person you meet, every experience you have is helping you evolve to be the leader you are. So remember, your journey is uniquely yours. Cherish it and enjoy the journey, and don't just focus on the final destination, because the destination will continue to change as life goes on. And just reach out to mentors. I'm so glad we had an opportunity to connect with all of you today. I'm on LinkedIn, so feel free to reach out. You can ask any follow-up questions, or if questions pop up, I'll be happy to answer any of them at any time. And I wish you the most successful journey, and enjoy the journey, not just the destination.
It is very important to enjoy the journey because we forget to enjoy the journey while doing the stuff life has thrown us into doing. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we don't see the little things that makes us happy because we get stuck in doing the things that are supposed to do as a human being, as a student,
Yeah.
as a living life. So yes, your answer was very intenseful, and it was lovely having you on board today, Crystal. It was such a lovely session I had with you, and yeah, I hope we will have another session soon if you are interested.
Absolutely. I'm here to support your journey, and thank you so much for having me today. Wonderful to connect with all of you.
Thank you so much, Crystal.